Not ready?
Yeah.
Awesome. There we go. Again, my name is Tony Gowell, and I'm happy to be the moderator for today's panel. I would love to introduce the very beautiful and broad-eyed and bushy-tailed AJ. Raise your hand, darling. Who's going to start a line in this aisle for microphone questions. And then we have the very handsome Aaron, right? Yes, over here on this aisle. So, let me be very clear about a couple of things. One, let's not talk about certain things, shall we? Rhymes with run, because then we would be done, so we won't ask questions about James Gunn. Cool? We promise? Awesome, because then I'll have to be the bad guy. Number two, for those of you that physically cannot get back behind the safety area for the microphone feedback, raise your hand and I'm happy to include you in today's conversation because I know not everyone can physically get back there. So just give me a little hand up, okay? And I'll try to bounce between. Is that cool? Don't be lazy. If you can get back there, get back there. If you can't, raise your hand. Promise? Then we're gonna have a beautiful morning. Can I introduce you a couple of people?
Yeah!
Awesome. We wanted to go ahead and get started because someone is running a bit behind, but we wanted to get your show going for this bright Sunday morning here at the Church of Dragon Con. Cheers. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can welcome to the stage, very slowly, elegantly, with beauty and charm and grace, the very beautiful Klementieff. There's so much space between us, Palm. Could we maybe fill it with someone?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please bring to the stage the very beautiful Gillan. But that's why we ladies are professional can get here. We're just waiting on Benedict. We'll have him crash the panel when he gets here. Does that sound like a plan? Yeah. Awesome. I like that. Cheers.
Cheers.
For hydration.
Yeah.
We have some awesome questions all ready to go. So I first want to, before we launch with AJ, because we always go ladies first, Palm, this is your first time at Dragon Con, correct?
Yes, it is.
What do you think so far?
It's great, I love it. You know, we shot Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Avengers Infinity War here, so it feels like home, you know?
Yeah! So, in filming here, I imagine you got to explore some of the culinary delights in the city of Atlanta. Being a fat kid, I love to talk food. Did you explore any really great restaurants in the city?
Oh yeah, great. Yeah, of course. I'm not going to tell you which ones because I'm going out tonight. No, the food is amazing here. You know, I'm French, so I love food, you know, so yeah.
You're French? I had no idea. We were just discussing, she was like, I'm not Canadian, I'm French. You're right outside of Paris, correct?
Yeah, I grew up in the countryside an hour away from Paris, and then I went to Paris when I was 16. And yeah, the music is crazy, you know?
What is there music over here?
What's happening?
The guy's like, oh gosh, I'm distracted by the beauty on the stage, hold please. It happens. Oh, that's much better, because it sounds like a Mario Kart game.
Oh yeah.
From Paris. Eat the magic mushroom. Can you still hear it? No, it's gone. Great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Let's give it up for our tech ops team to keep the sound really good. Awesome. So you won't spill any secrets. There's a new restaurant that opened in Decatur called White Bowl. You should definitely check it out. It's amazing.
Oh, nice.
So good. How about you, Karen? You've been here a few times.
I have, yes. I spent a lot of time here.
Yeah. I actually have a story about Guardians.
Wait, you have a story?
I have a story.
What's your story?
My story, Karen, is there was a gentleman that played one of the Ravagers, am I saying that correct?
Yes.
Okay. That often sat across from you in the makeup trailer, and he kept trying to work up the courage to ask you out on a date.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Is Ashton here? I don't want to say his name if he's not.
Also, wait, was I blue while this was happening?
Yeah. Well, he was also. He was one of the blue background. Yeah, and he was just like, I just want to ask her out. Tony, should I do it? I was like, yes, she's so approachable. She's so amazing. And then apparently on the last day that he was going to do it, you had already wrapped, and he was like a soul crush for days. So that's for you, Ashton, wherever you are. Awesome. So enough about me and silliness. I would love to get some questions from the fans. Would that be okay, ladies?
Sounds good.
Awesome. AJ, who do you have up first?
No, there's like
There's
laughter coming
chattering.
from it.
It's so strange.
This is so hilarious.
I think it's children laughing.
It's my other personalities coming out.
Sorry.
So sorry, we just have a lot of feedback up here. Is it Aaron that's doing it? Oh, your microphone doesn't work? Okay, Tech, we just gave you a round of applause for making a sound great.
We're taking it back.
I'm just kidding. Aaron, is yours working?
Yeah, mine's good.
Excellent. What's your question?
It's working now.
Yeah.
Oh, going?
Yeah, what's your question?
So for Karen, in Infinity War, we kind of got the sense that Nebula and Gamora have had some character development since Volume 2 in their relationship. I was just wondering if you could comment a little bit more, if you have any ideas, kind of how their relationship has grown in between those two movies?
Yeah, I think that's very true. The relationship between Nebula and Gamora, the sisters, has evolved so much from the first movie. I think in the first movie, my character in particular, Nebula, was, I guess we didn't really get to see all the layers of her character. She kind of just seemed like a very bitter, evil, blue thing. And then in the second movie, I think we got to understand why a little bit more and maybe develop some empathy for her and question whether she really is a villain in the situation or not. And also maybe see how Gamora played into that. And I think that they just sort of started to understand each other a little bit more, and I think that's the first step to building a relationship in any family.
That was really a beautiful answer for this early in the morning. Holy, we're in for a treat. Sorry, sir, that we had skipped you earlier. I apologize. We were having technical difficulties. What's your question?
My question would be for both you ladies, what would be your favorite moment or funniest moment on set that you can talk about?
Fair. Thank you. That you can talk about.
Funniest moment. Oh, I know what it is. It involves you and my co-worker's bottom.
Yeah, that's
Wait,
a good one.
you need to clarify that very quickly. No, you should tell the story actually.
Yeah, but I mean, we talked about it already. You know. Yeah, we were with James Gunn and Dave Bautista rehearsing before shooting Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and it was a really intimate and beautiful moment. You know, it's like the scene between Mantis and Drax, and I touch his shoulder, and I can feel what he's been, what he went through in his life, and how hurtful it was. And you know, there was some like tears and some emotions. And then we see like something a little bit like moving a little bit further away. What is this? You know, it's like at the door on the window, and it's a butt. And then we just look a little bit more, and it's Michael Rooker, just like, you know, like putting his butt against the window. And I'm like, what? And you know, he just like cut us like when in a beautiful emotional scene, and you know, like, really, Rooker?
But more importantly, Mom, did you seek revenge and get him back later?
What?
Did you get him back for doing that?
Did I what?
Did you get him back, like, pull a prank, get revenge on him for doing that?
No, not yet.
But hey, before we go to the next question, it seems like someone's ready to join us. Will it be okay if I bring one more friend to the stage? It's a very long catwalk. I was told he was ready, and I'm so sorry, Benedict. to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give him a warm DragonCon welcome.
Sorry, I took the wrong porthole.
That's all right.
How embarrassing to be late and from the other
And then everyone's staring at you.
Have I got detention now?
1,200 people.
It's really okay, and here's why. Because we are a DragonCon family, and we run on our own time here in the South. Cheers to you.
The time stones.
It's a time stones, right? They go a little wibbly wobbly, wonky, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. That was for you, Dr. Hoodians. Couple of ya, I see. Aaron, you have a question for us?
I have indeed. Okay, everyone has like pointed out this is memed it or whatever, but basically every single film in the MCU Phase 3 has had this weird focus on fathers. And of course we got, you know, the big thing with Ego and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which is my favorite MCU movie. And we got, the Big Daddy Thanos and everything. So in Doctor Strange, that's like the only movie that isn't like father focused. I don't know, is there anything about that, or is it just like this, is it just this really weird coincidence?
I think there are plenty of daddies in Doctor Strange, but he was mentioning that he felt that there were a lot of daddy issue, fatherly type of environment or focus in a lot of the MCU films with family, and was thinking that it seemed to be missing from the film Doctor Strange, and was wondering if that was something that maybe you had noticed. Did I get that right?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like specifically Phase 3. Like.
All right, for Phase 3.
Oh, goodness.
That's how we hit you hard first thing in the morning.
Daddy issues. Well, I don't know. With the film that I was in, I guess it was more about the spiritual journey, I think, for a man with a huge ego, and loses his own power that makes him feel almighty for himself. He has to take his own spiritual journey in order to find his own way again.
That was really beautiful said, yeah.
It's not bad for early in the morning.
Awesome. So spiritual journey instead of a father journey. Got it. AJ, what you got? Good question, sir.
Hi, my name is DJ. Nice to meet you. On Infinity War, have there been times when you didn't want to work with each other? Like, I can't work with Chris. He too much. Dang, somebody call the police. I'm gonna kill him. Call home. You know, let them come in.
So let me see if I got that right. Was there, yeah. Was there anyone that was too extra?
Tom Holland is really adorable. He's very nice. So I think it's impossible to want to kill him, you know? He's so sweet.
He's weird.
No, in a weird way, everyone was really, really amazing to work with and really, really nice. And, there was no big ego and annoying person that you didn't want to see. And usually it happens on the movie set. At least there's one person that you're like, But it didn't happen in this one. So yeah, we felt pretty lucky. I mean, I didn't shoot with everyone either, because Mantis hasn't been to Earth yet. So all my stuff was in space. So, some people I didn't work with.
That's a testament, because there are so many amazing actors that work within this Marvel universe, and for you also sit there and say that you guys all get along well, and all of those days with those people are cool, because you're right, not all film sets are the same, not all actors are created equally. So that's awesome. That's a nice testament to how awesome the Marvel universe is. They all get along. Aaron, what's your next question?
Hi, I'm Isha. So I was wondering what you guys would do if you weren't actors.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Oh, good question. I would love to be a therapist so much. Because just like human behavior is just my greatest passion. I love it so much. analyzing people and trying to understand them. And I think that's probably why I'm an actor, because I'm just sort of emulating it or like creating these people. But like, if I could listen to people and try and work the night for a living, I would be really happy doing that.
I think I would be like either a florist, because like working around flowers must be great and beautiful all the time. And or I would like work with horses, because I love horses and I love to be in nature. Or I would, I don't know, be like a yoga teacher. I guess like yoga teachers are really happy. And they just do yoga and they eat bananas and they yeah. Banana. I would have to do more yoga though.
I'd play a part-time masseuse. Part-time private detective. Not in any order.
What about you, Tony? What will you do?
Plot twist.
You know, being a private dick and a massage therapist, behavior analyst, and florist sound like really great career choices. And that's what I would be. All of them, part-time. One for each day of the week. Yes, full house. Thank you for having me. Next question, Beth Bernie. Good job.
Hello. So a question for the panel is, do you feel like there is a certain type of character that you individually are used to playing relative to the kinds of characters that you wish that you could play?
Interesting question. I think I keep playing these like amazing fighters that are really badass, and I am not coordinated. I honestly am shocked at the way my career has gone. Which is so funny because Pom is really amazing at all that stuff, and she plays a character that doesn't do any of that. She's all emotional, so we should swap, I think.
Yeah, no, it's funny because for me it's more the opposite, because I've been used to having a lot of auditions, like, yeah, badass, strong, fighter, or kind of like, you know, like serious. And the role that brought me to light is a role that is completely different and more emotional and weird and quirky and just like not really like physical, you know. So yeah, it's kind of funny. So you know, life brings you to interesting places for sure.
I've been really looking to play a variety of roles, but there was one. Hey? Oh, I've been really fortunate to play a variety of roles, and but there was one year I actually played 6 gangsters, 6 parts that were all gangsters. That was called the Year of the Gangsters.
I want to build on that question, if I may. Are there any types of character, you don't have to like pigeonhole a specific role, but like a type of character that you as an actor would love to just stretch yourself and just be able to launch yourself into, like a Bond villain or a Bond girl or whatever?
I mean, the Bond girl, if you kick his ass, but you know, just like ending up in a room with him, like doing like some like stuff. No, boring.
Yeah. No, I would have to play like a Jack Nicholson style character in The Shining, and just like be in a contained space, just gradually go insane, and be really scary.
Duly noted, never be mentioned close to How about you, Benedict?
I'd like to play a private detective. Part-time masseuse. That dream will come alive.
Like Sherlock Holmes? With your friend Benedict?
I could be secretly have like my own star and they're relaxing and I'm just coercing them out of information.
That's actually really good because you're in a very vulnerable position. On the table, naked, can't go anywhere.
And then I can just twist their arm going, you're under arrest.
I won't ask where you'll get the handcuffs from. Next question.
Hi, my name is Jay, and my question is for Karen and Tom. What is your favorite food, and Tom specifically, what is your favorite French food?
Favorite food? Oh, okay, this is my favorite question. So I think it's either pizza, spaghetti bolognese, oh, I like Italian, I guess, or, okay, I'm just going to use this opportunity to pitch haggis in Scotland. Because people think it's disgusting, but it's honestly so tasty, and I think it's banned in America, actually. I don't know if you want to know. Let's eat it, and then I'll tell you back.
Is it a meat, a weird part of the
So
animal?
yes, it's yes. There's a weird part of the animal involved, but it's meat and there's oats in it.
Do you make a good haggis?
I've never made it, but I buy it in restaurants.
No, what part of the animal is it?
Okay, so like it's supposed to be cooked in the sheep's stomach.
Cooked inside?
Yeah, like that's the little container.
I need a video or something. Maybe not that early in the morning though. Talking about French food, I mean an amazing baguette, fresh, and with salted butter, Chile or another brand, and with when you can taste the crystals of salt. So good. And with a great cheese, like a Ponte, that would be like, I don't know, like 10 years of age maybe. And this is just simple and delicious, And maybe with a glass of red wine,
Now that sounds like a breakfast with chance. Did it taste like a Tom?
I don't know, I just think Tom should open a sandwich shop as well.
Okay, with flowers, with the wars.
And then be about something, yeah.
You would have your massage parlor in the back, just like
yes. What do I like? Yeah, lots of foods of the world. I like a lot of Korean barbecue.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
I just tried that for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good.
It's good, right? Oh, my goodness. Very garlicky.
Thanks for making us hungry first. Before we go to the next question, I would like to get this gentleman up here in the front. Loud and proud for me.
Hi, my question is for Tom. What did it take to get into character of Mantis?
What does it take, this is for Palm, what does it take to get into the character of Mantis?
We talked about the character with James Gunn, and we developed it together, and he told me that, he imagined it, he imagined Mantis as, innocent, wide-eyed, and half-bug, and a little bit weird, and, she grew up kind of by herself on a planet with ego, but, it was not great, and, so just, I thought about that, and I thought about, myself when I was a child, and, when I don't feel like really confident in my own skin, and I just thought of that, and I added some like insect stuff too, with the way she washes her hands like that, like a like a fly or like a little bug, as a fighting stance too. It's like that, and and I thought of Mr. Burns in The Simpsons. And I found this character, and I thought that when she arrives in the movie, you don't know if she's good or if she's bad, So if she has her hands like that, it looks like she's plotting something. So it was my homage to Mr. Burns.
That was a great answer. Does Simpsons represented at DragonCon. Love it. Next question over here.
My question is for Palm and Karen. You guys both have quite a bit of prosthetics that probably take a lot of time to get into. What's your favorite way to pass the time while they're putting all of your prosthetics on?
I mean, we're in the makeup trailer together, and
It's just us two in a truck.
Yeah.
Made into aliens.
And Karen is very funny. She makes voices, and she starts singing with a weird voice, and it's fun, you know. Because she has much more prosthetics, much more paint on her face, so it takes more time. For me, it's a little bit easier because it's my own skin tone, and it's just a little pancake that they put on my forehead with little, you know, mini antennas. So it's easier for me. For her, it's just, yeah.
How many hours is it for Nebula?
Well, the first movie started off at 5 hours to get the face on. I was like, whoa. Yeah, and then on the second movie they got the time down, and now it's under 2 hours to get into the full Nebula makeup.
Wow. Is it the same makeup team that...
No, they changed from the first movie to the second movie. And then they just, I think with each movie you can streamline it and maybe like adjust the pieces a little bit to make it easier to apply. Sure.
Because 2 hours is definitely better than 5.
Well, 2 hours, I mean, I'm longer in normal makeup than 2 hours.
No, but you have to think that she has to put the makeup on and then take it off after after we wrap. So it takes time too.
It does, but that is the best feeling in the world. Taking that thing off is like almost worth going through it just to get that.
And breathe again.
Oh, it's just sheer and utter happiness.
See what you're missing out on, Benedict?
Hey, I do 2 hours meditation before I go.
Love it. Next question.
Hi. One of the things I've always loved about the MCU films is no matter how serious they are, they always inject seemingly the perfect amount of humor. And each of your characters, while they're critical to the plot lines of the movies, they each have their own brand of humor that they sort of inject along the way. Do you have any input into that? Do you help come up with any of that, or is it all written for you up front? Because each of you are distinct and have a different sense of humor in the films.
That's a great question.
I don't know, for Guardians 2 was first like extremely well written, thanks to James Gunn, and the characters were amazing already. And then we add our personal touch, and there's a way to say things that is going to be funnier than another way, and then you just bring your own world to it. And yeah, so I don't know, I don't have like a specific example, but
yeah, with the Guardians movies, they are so funny already on the page that I mean, I just don't think any of us can really make up a line that's funnier than what James Gunn had written. But yeah, it's all in the delivery, really. I mean, I feel like actually, though, I've started to improvise more, like as we went into the Avengers, like Nebula has definitely become a bit more sarcastic. Just one.
No, I mean, I guess for Doctor Strange, I was just told to remain very stony-faced and until the end, I guess.
But even with the stunning face, he brought humor and lightness to it.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome, of course. Let me be the bad guy to ask this question. Do we know the fate of your character, Benedict? See, that's why I asked it. Because I was just writing down the list and I'm like, who is still hanging out? Who is not? And then I was like, oh, you kind of left the scene and I don't know if we revisited where you
Yeah, there's a whole, I think there's a whole chunk of phase 5 and 6 over there. I don't really know. I think you may be still around, yeah.
I like to be optimistic. Next question.
Hi.
So my name is Katie, and I was wondering, since there was so much secrecy surrounding Infinity War, what was your reaction when you saw the final cut?
We were only given our individual pages, so I just didn't really have a clue what was going on elsewhere. And you know, I just only came to light when just on the premiere, really, I think, and it's an amazing film.
It was amazing to discover the film at the premiere and, you know, at the same time as almost all the characters in the movie, right? I think that no one had a private screening, right?
No, I don't think so.
An early screening. So it was really a surprise. It was incredible. I remember you were like just the row before me, and then we looked at each other, we're like, oh, wow.
It was really cool. I remember, I didn't know how intense it was going to be. Like, it is dark.
Right. Yeah.
I'm shocked. I wonder where it's going to go from here. Again, I don't know.
I think it was just the sharp contrast that Thor Ragnarok was and Black Panther were just, you know, like these intense freedom, lots of great humor, and so you're just assuming that it's going to continue that tradition, even though we know the bad thing is coming. It's been building for so long. But you're just like, whoa, it was just like gut punch after gut punch after gut punch. And you're like, oh my gosh. And then, has anybody seen Ant-Man and Wasp? Have you guys?
Yes.
So at the very, very end, there's even more to add to what you guys have already shown us in that first Infinity War film. And I'm just like, God, just let us breathe a bit. I love it. So I'm glad that you guys got to be surprised together as a family and to see it all together. That's cool. Great question. What's the next one?
Hi, this question is for everyone. I'm just wondering, as yourselves, not as your characters, Team Tony or Team Cap?
Team Tony Stark or Team Captain America?
Tony.
Yeah.
I don't know, I love his character. He's so funny and smart and cool.
I agree.
I mean, Captain America is great too, but you know. I like how witty he is, you know, Iron Man.
Can't really choose. Team Wong. They'll catch one.
May I get this question in front? Yes, ma'am. What's your question?
How is it like to work with actors like the guy
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. and Chris
Hemsworth? Which Chris?
All of them.
Come on. Oh, Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell is amazing. He's very funny, down to earth, and I mean, he has such an amazing career too. He was very inspiring, and and who else? Robert Downey Jr. Very generous, amazing actor, always coming up with ideas and improvisation, and you know, he's really amazing. Chris Hemsworth was great too. I don't know, it was really it was a great experience for sure. I felt really lucky.
Great question. Did anybody else want to ask about what it's like to work with some of your co-stars?
Yes, everything she said was exactly right. Like, Robert Downey Jr., his improv skills truly blew me away. I mean, because you just don't know what he's going to do from one take to the next, which is a really exciting place to sort of live in as an actor. And he was encouraging me to do it too, which I loved, and it was fun to like improvise in this character, which is, you know, so I'm doing this like weird Marilyn Monroe voice. And like also she, you know, doesn't understand human things either, so that was kind of cool.
Thanks, what a great question, man. Thank you. What's the next one? What are you, Aaron?
Hi, my name is Ian, and for those of us who have read the original Infinity Gauntlet graphic novel, we know that at some point Nebula gets a hold of the gauntlet and causes even more chaos, which makes me wonder what's in store for the next Avengers film. My question for you guys is, if you, be you as actors or your characters, were able to get a hold of the Infinity Gauntlet, what would be the first thing on your agenda?
That's a really good question.
Too much pressure.
Yeah. What would you do, Pom?
I don't know.
I would want to wish myself to another, like, air-breathing, sustainable planet somewhere in the cosmos that hasn't been discovered or found out yet.
Yeah.
Just to be able to prove that it exists. That would be kind of cool, right? Finding life somewhere else.
Or like you could go really far into the future and see how we've evolved as human beings.
Oh my god.
And my theory is that we're all going to have massive heads because everything is in the brain by that point. We're not even going to use our bodies, so they're going to be like frail little Mr. Burns type things. And then like hooked machines living through computers.
Yeah.
It's amazing from here.
Yeah, being in the virtual reality world and not being connected to the other human beings because we're already doing that. Just always on our phones, you know. Ugh, it's horrible. What a horrible world.
But we can use it to fix that.
Well, that's it. Oh yeah.
We can use it to fix that.
Yeah.
You can do anything, right?
Yoga, bananas.
Make everyone get along. Oh, wouldn't that be the best revenge on the world? You all have to like each other. Ah. That's awesome. That's a great question. What's our next one?
Hi guys, my name is Mari. So, Pom, before we begin, that line, kick names, take ass, thank you. Thank you so much. I died when I saw that. Anyway, so there's a meme on the internet, Benedict, and it is basically Benedict Cumberbatch's name is altered every single time. Have you ever changed it to like, you know, Benedict like Cumberbatch, like Cumberpatch, or like Snickerdoodle Snatch or something like that? Because like, honestly, that would be so funny if you were to call Stephen Strange Benedict Sucker Patch or something like that. You know?
What, is that what you want me to do?
I would die, yes. But also, have you ever thought of like calling his that on set, like on Doctor Strange? Did you ever hear of the meme before?
I guess if the game of playing around with his name ever permeated on set, did anybody ever kind of tease him about his name being completely mishandled by the public on the internet?
No, not really. No,
I mean, I'm down for Snickerdoodle Snatch, but I'm a fat kid that loves cooking.
I go as far as Benedict Cumberbatch. That's kind of nice.
That's nice. That's funny. Good question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi. That's great. Aaron, back over to you.
Hi, I'm Natasha. Sorry, this is the last question, but basically, we get to know like the hero's backstory, but we don't really get to know about the actors. So, like, how did you guys get into acting?
Ooh, those steps into acting. Bum, bum, bum.
I don't know, I started taking theater classes when I was, what, 18, 20, 19? I don't remember. And I loved it, and I loved creating characters, and I remember one of my first characters that I created was a crab, and I think it was funny. It was funny to do like weird stuff, you know, and you're allowed to do weird stuff on stage. And it warms you up, and you feel like, I don't know, there's a connection with the audience, and it's nice. And, yeah. So I got to yeah, it was a crab, you know, and his name was Krabby. And it's funny, by the way, I just realized that I say, the Krabby Cup is so cute, it makes me want to die. Krabby. Oh, Krabby. Oh, yeah, so, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not Krabby?
Krabby.
Krabby?
Yeah.
Krabby.
Krabby.
Oh, yeah. I mean, almost the same, right?
Benedict, how about yourself? How did you get into acting?
Oh, well, it's a 25-year overnight success here. I started off on a 2-year foundation course in performing arts, and then there were no grants to go to drama school. I couldn't afford anything to go there, and I ended up just climbing every rung of the ladder, really, doing, you know, joined a cooperative where actors represent each other, and just learned about the business, and just grew, fell, grew, raised my knees, and just continued. exponentially, I guess.
Karen?
I remember being a child and creating all these characters and performing them to my parents. One of them was like an old Southern American granny. And I thought it was a perfect Southern accent. And it probably sounded terrible because I was, like I said, even more Scottish when I was a kid. And then I think that I just discovered this outlet for myself, you know? Because I was like a little bit of a socially awkward kid around people, and I was like, you know, nervous to talk to them, and then when I was a different character, it was like I had license to do whatever I wanted, kind of like being drunk. You're like, oh, I can do anything, there's no consequences that I care about.
Right.
Yeah, I think I don't know, all of us, I think that we're like pretty like introverted, right, when we're younger.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to be like really shy, and you know, I think people kind of must have found it really weird when they saw that I was becoming an actress because I was so introverted, you know, and it was hard for me like, to speak out, you know.
Yeah.
So it changed after.
Well, many years ago, I was a casting director in film and television. So there's an intimacy on a set, no matter how many dozens of crew members are on the stage, that allow you to kind of step outside of your comfort zone and breathe into your characters. So to me, it's a bigger testament that you're willing to come out and meet and greet and hang out and discuss these questions and answers with fans, because it's so much more personable, and it does have to make you, if we're introverted, shy people, I'm surrounded by them in my life because I'm too much personality for most people. So I understand that this can be very daunting. So I just want to say thank you for being willing to come in and hang out on a morning like this with all of us. So let's give it up for you. Sir, you have your hand raised up loud and proud. What's your question?
Okay, since yesterday I came from called you under the bus a little bit. I guess from where I continue to favor. Benedict, I don't know what language you speak. Mom, Canton, Musa,
Which Papa Siri?
Yes. My question to you, we bear na alba. How gala gaga? And if not, why not?
Did you speak French?
Oh, it's Gillan! I thought that was Gillan, and I was like, you're making Scottishy sounds. Ooh, okay, lassie, that's girl.
I love to see this to Peter yesterday, Peter Cavalli, and he was just like, what?
I don't know, I can't gather what you're saying. You seem to be like mad about something.
It's Scottish. And you passed the garlic.
For the salt and butter bread, yes.
What are you saying? I want to know.
Do you speak Scottish Gaelic?
Oh,
And I spoke building to the Scottish accent, which is actually English, you man.
oh, that sounds quite good. You sound like Billy Connolly. I don't speak Gaelic. I know how to sing one song and I don't know what any of the words mean. I think the word "and" is "agus." That's all I know. So that's it. Sorry for being a rubbish Scot. Oh yes,
And you assume that Benedict spoke a different language other than English?
I speak Klingon, yeah.
Yeah! There it is. I love it. Thank you for regaling us with that question in a second panel, sir. Amazing. Love you. Who's over here? Who's next?
I think we're all familiar with the lengths the studio goes to keep leaks and details under wraps. Is there any times that any of you have encountered almost leaking something, or just a zany story where you couldn't say anything?
Yes, every interview we do. Answering questions without saying anything is an art form.
That's true. Well, let me spin it a bit. Have you encountered fans uncovering things through just happenstance or chance where you're like, ooh, how did they have that figured out? How do they know? And you know that you can't say anything to confirm or deny or...
It happened to me yesterday, but I can't say it.
Right.
I was like, it might be true. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Because social media can be a great tool to use, but it can also be a very sharp weapon to use against people. So, gosh, I could only imagine. Because I've seen things where you hear and you read, and then like we'll take the show. Are there any Westworld fans out there? Where the creators were just like, how did they figure it out? I mean, like it drove them mad that they thought they had woven this tapestry of a story to unfold, and then right on Reddit, they were all like, well, this is what's gonna happen, and the creators were like, who told? And no one told. They just out of happenstance, you put enough people in a room banging on the computer, somebody's just gonna accidentally figure things out. Yeah. So does that help attune to what you were asking? I was trying to dance on it so that you guys wouldn't have to say anything you didn't want to say. Awesome, what's our next question?
I had a question for Palm. Was it intimidating to join the MCU as an actor and a very prominent character so late?
Prominent character?
Yeah, Mantis is pretty prominent.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's always, yeah, it's a challenge. And it's, I mean, when I got the part, you know, I mean, for a lot of people, I was nobody, you know? So it was kind of, yeah, it was crazy. And I was a huge fan of course, the Marvel Universe, but especially the first Guardians of the Galaxy. And I was joining the band, you know, and I was not sure that they would really welcome me. And it was amazing. I remember going to the table read, and they were all amazing and friendly and warm, and, you know, Karen and Chris and Dave and Zoe and James Gunn, and it was amazing. And yeah, it was really amazing.
It's a great question.
Hi, I'm Lucy, and I have a question for Karen. So, I know you have really long hair, but in the Nebula costume you don't have any hair, so I was wondering how you hid it, like...
How I hide the mane.
She has so much hair. It's
oh my gosh, there's so much of it. Like, it's infinity hair. Like, it's mad. Like, it's like maybe like double a normal person's amount of hair. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about that. So, what they do is they just like take little sections and then they paste it around my head, and it's all like sticky and weird, and then they put a bald cap on me and I look really weird.
Didn't you shave it?
Oh, for the first movie I shaved it all off though, and I was really bald.
And you rocked it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I was bald, sometimes I look like a baby. Really tall one. I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting experience to be bald, but I'm happy that I have my hair back.
Right. Yeah, it looks great. Because I remember a couple of years ago when I first met you, you were growing it back out from after the first film.
Yeah, I keep seeing pictures from all of these conventions that I've done, and I have all these like different hair lengths, and it's like, oh, this is a way to like mark my
journey.
Yes.
Oh, that's a great question. So hidden under a ball cap.
How long did it take to grow back?
Well, this is 5 years later. Wow. I mean, I've been cutting it a little bit for but like...
I mean, it grew so fast, I remember.
Did it? Oh, I mean, this is 5 years.
Yeah, but you cut it.
Yeah.
No, it's funny because we kind of all have to do that, and there's a lot of us that wear wigs, and so we all have to go through this process of just like putting some gel, and they make your hair like, you know, like a helmet of wet hair with gel in it. It's weird. And then the ball cap, and then the wig on top of it. So yeah, Gamora does that, and Zoe, you, me, who else?
I think every female.
It is.
It has to be so hot. I could only imagine, just especially filming in Atlanta. It's hot
Back to
here.
the AC up.
Oh,
my
that's good.
God. I'm quite grateful for the extra insulation.
Your hand, a lot of power. What's your question, sir? Yeah.
This for Karen. Is that your actual voice when you do Nebula? Or like, is it like computerized stuff?
Oh, yes, it's my voice, but I think they put like a small amount of processing on it. So it's essentially me like lowering my voice.
like this. But then they put like this like mechanical sound on it. So it's a combination really.
That's a great question. And I kind of like that voice.
Yeah, it's way more attractive than mine.
Not true. Not true. Never describe your voice as shrill. So we've got time for 2 questions on each side. You guys can duke it out.
My question is actually for Mr. Wong. I first fell in love with you as an actor with your performance as Kublai Khan on Marco Polo. And I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about what that experience was like and how you may have translated some of that to your performance in Doctor Strange.
Thanks. Thank you for that. Yes, I got to play Kublai Khan in Marco Polo, and when I first got the job, I put on 40 pounds and learned to horse ride and sword fight, and I'm still carrying some of those pounds. And it was an amazing job. We were in Kazakhstan, and we ended up filming also in Budapest and Malaysia. I was really pleased to be involved. Obviously, now we have some real successes with Crazy Rich Asians and John Cho Searching. That this was a predominantly East Asian cast and sort of many actors that I've admired and who are now really great friends and a real family. Yeah. And when the job of Doctor Strange happened, I was still filming season 2, and the dates were all kind of clashing a bit, but they actually made it work where I literally finished season 2. I flew back to London, I went home, dropped my bags, and then went straight pretty much onto set filming the scene with the apple. And yeah, I was heavily jet lagged, and they had to send me home that day because I was talking a bit like you, mate, actually. With hello, I gotta go. To go home, sleep some more.
That's awesome. Next question.
Hello? Okay. Just a quick aside, Karen, if you didn't see that young lady, she looks like a very young Amy Pond.
I was just thinking that. I thought she was a little redhead, but I couldn't tell.
Oh yeah, but she sure is.
Where are you? Yay!
Anyway, here's my question. A lot of the fans are blaming Star-Lord for allowing Thanos to complete his quest. I'm just wondering. I'm sorry, what? I was just wondering if your characters would also blame Star-Lord for allowing that to happen.
What? Do our characters also blame him?
I don't imagine all the characters know what has happened, necessarily.
Well, he was like, what exactly happened? He was really emotional about it.
Yeah, but sometimes you're like angry or you have, emotions and you don't have the best reaction. And, it's life, right?
And
I'm sure it's happened to all of us, right?
And he is...
Team Star-Lord!
Well, isn't he torn there? I mean, that's it, where you love someone so much and...
Sure, it's called passion,
yeah, exactly, and your judgment's clouded there. He wasn't thinking about saving the entire universe.
By a show of hands, raise your hand if you've ever made a mistake in a relationship. But it was heartbreaking. Great question. Back over to you, Aaron.
That actually kind of feeds in nicely to my question, which is for Karen. Given that Nebula and Gamora are trying to become closer sisters, I was wondering if you had any thoughts about how Nebula might feel about Gamora and Peter's romantic relationship, or just Peter in general.
Wait, sorry, what was the question? Gamora's
relationship with the Peter Quill character, if you have a feeling about how close they are. Like if there's a sense of jealousy?
Oh, from Nebula.
Yeah.
I think that Nebula really didn't care about that until recently. She was just like, this is stupid. And then I think maybe somewhere in Guardians 2, when she saw that Gamora was really worried that he wasn't going to come down and then the Mary Poppins thing happened, I think that is the moment where Nebula realized how important this man is to her sister, and she developed some, you know, compassion towards her.
Nice. That's a good answer. Yes, sir.
Hey, thank you for coming, and thank you for Benedict for leaving the sanctum unguarded for a minute. Anyway, my question is, besides food, what are some uniquely Atlanta things that you did while you were filming down here?
Ooh.
The park is cool.
Karaoke.
Oh, we did some serious karaoke.
What are your go-to tunes?
What did you say, Nirvana?
Yeah.
It was karaoke with a live band. It was crazy. So we got on stage and did a duet.
It's so funny. Yeah. What was it? Which song?
Lithium?
Before we started shooting Guardians.
Yeah, but they were like, these girls were in Guardians of the Galaxy. And they introduced us, and we were like, no.
I knew her, like no one knew me. We're like, hey, what's
What else did we do?
Yeah.
I'm doing coffee.
Oh, Dancing Goats have great coffee here in
Went to the
Atlanta.
park.
Oh, really? Good to know.
Dancing Goats.
The
Yeah.
Piedmont Park, and there's like flowers too, orchids, right?
The botanical gardens?
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
The aquarium.
Eating a lot.
Food. Yeah, that's a great question. So that sounds like a really great way to sound off. Welcome back to Atlanta. Thank you all for being here at Dragon Concert.
I don't suppose I could get a copy of your video, the drink, right in front of Tom's face.